Hey Lewis, let's take a look at your week 5 assignment 3 drawing. It could be the scan, but it feels a little bit blurry to me right now. Not to the point where I'm not able to see anything, but I just feel like edge quality is not quite there. And I'm trying to decide if it's the drawing or if it's just the scan itself. But things are feeling just a little kind of fuzzy in some areas, and it might be pencil work also that's starting to get into some of the marker work. But there's areas by the edge of the frames, for instance, or along the back side of the bookshelf where it doesn't feel as crisp and clean as I think it needs to. There's some other questions that I would ask just because I'm having a hard time really kind of deciphering things, but there's a heavy amount of texture going on in these kind of areas here, and I don't know if that's marker work, colored pencil work, or why it's occurring, but I think it's something that you'll want to smooth out. If it's colored pencil work, it just comes down to, I think, laying in the color a little bit more evenly. But if it's something else, then that's something that you'll have to try and deal with a little bit as you move towards the final. I think the lighting situation that you have right now it's in place, but I think it needs to be brought forth a little bit more. I'm not like exactly sure where the light is coming from, although it feels like it's coming from the window considering some of the cast shadows that are in place. But I think a lot of this stuff could be pushed further. So for instance, if the light is coming from the window, the top plane of the bookshelf would be the lightest area, and everything else would pretty much be darker. So I think you could probably push this to be a little bit darker so it separates more. I think this definitely could get a lot darker than what it is right now, so that it works a little bit more effectively as kind of a side that's not getting hit with light. But I think highlights could be pushed. Get a little bit of white colored pencil on the top of this chair, a little bit of white colored pencil on the arms of the chair, so that they show that they're getting hit with light. And I think you can increase a little bit of the value in some of these areas where there's kind of a cast shadow. Certainly the front part of the chair here, which shouldn't really be getting hit with any light, could be a lot darker, and then you'd have to go in and kind of push your cast shadow in place down on the rug and on the floor. Cast shadows could be brought forth a little more to try to get a little bit of a darker value, at least where it's kind of connecting to the surface, so that you get a better separation and a clearer idea of where the cast shadow is. But like underneath this guy could be darker, and I think you just need more contrast right now. You've got some great colors in place. The perspective looks very, very good, and all the objects have a nice amount of detail to them, but there just doesn't feel like there's that much dynamic use of lights and darks, and so that would be something that I'd like you to deal with a little bit more. Not in the composition as a whole, but within each of the individual elements. I think there could definitely be more. Texturally, I'm not sure that the chair, whatever this kind of blue is that you have in place, is working quite yet. So you might either need to expand upon it a little bit more or eliminate it altogether. I think if you're going to go in with some wood texture on the floor, you got to be careful about that, but you'll want that to be in place as well. I think right now it feels very rough and very generalized, and it doesn't have quite as much specificity as I think I would think it would need. So those are considerable amount of things to think about as you move towards the final. I think more than anything else, more than texture and more than kind of edge quality, would be the value range. But those other things are also, I think, something that you'll want to deal with before you put it in as a final.